You don't win awards for being able to tolerate the most disrespect. Doormat of the Year or Miss Never Prioritizes Self should never be an accolade that you want attached to your name or written on your tombstone. Literally, in life, a lot of women are taught that the more self-sacrificing you are is the better person that you are. And honestly, it's good to be a good person, but it's good to make sure that you're good first, too. Because the older that you get, the more life that you experience, most of the time it's something that starts to hit people that there's no way possible to pour from an empty cup. Just like you technically can't divide by 0. If you have nothing, you can give nothing. And a lot of the time, the burnout that you're feeling is because you're trying so hard to be everything and something to people when you have nothing left. And that's when it's time to pour back into yourself. That's when it's time to realize, I need to take a step back. I need to take a break. I can't be everything for everyone and nothing for myself. How much have you invested into yourself today? How much have you made sure that you were all the way taken care of before you made sure everybody else was? Now, when you're something like a big sister or a mother or a doting friend, a excellent partner, or at least trying your best to be, because all of it is subjective. When have you taken a step back and stopped focusing solely on the needs of others and made sure that your needs were being met? You can't pour from an empty cup. You cannot make sure that everyone is okay if you yourself are not okay. And I know it's easy to pretend. I mean, we all try to put on a brave face. We all try to make sure that we're not complaining too much. We're not being too angry or too sad, or we're just trying to be as strong as possible. But sometimes it's okay to not be super strong and say, hey, I need a little bit of help. Or say, hey, I need a break. Hey, I need a village. I need a partner. I need a friend. I need advice. And sometimes the strong friend is the one that needs the most help, because that's the reason why they're trying to be strong for everybody else. I've experienced it. I've literally had to unlearn so many different things within the past year and realize that a lot of my behaviors were the product of me fawning or people pleasing or just trying to make sure that everybody else around me was okay because I myself did not feel okay. Because if I don't really have anything to smile about, at least I want to try to be the thing that is making everyone else smile. I want to be the light that brightens up the room. I want to be the energy that changes the atmosphere. And it's a good thing to do. It is, honestly. And I'm happy that a lot of people can acknowledge me as the brightness, as the inspiration, as the joy. But then what happens when everyone is looking to you for that energy shift and you have nothing left to give? What happens then? And I started to realize that trying to make sure that I was pleasing everyone else around me started to drain me so bad, because you literally cannot please everyone. And then what if pleasing everyone means that you're taking away from yourself? Because if I have to try to be everything for everyone, who am I for me? You got to make sure that when you're looking in the mirror, you still recognize yourself. That you still identify with who is looking back at you. And that's when it's best to start learning the power of no. Even if I want to please everybody, I cannot. It is not my job. And it is not possible to make everyone happy. Sometimes you have to say no. And no isn't always negative. Honestly, no has become such a positive thing in my life lately because sometimes you just have to be able to acknowledge, I can't do that. I have limits. I have boundaries. You cannot pour from an empty cup. Sometimes no is necessary. And no is not always negative. And honestly, if you have people in your life and they can't love you with your boundaries, they can't love you when you start to prioritizing yourself more, they can't love you when you're no longer showing up for them the way that you could before, because now you have to show up for yourself a little bit more. Now you have to figure out what you want to do in life a little bit more. Then those people either never really loved you, they were only around for the ways that you could benefit them, or they just need a little bit of time to let you maneuver life and see that, hey, I have to take a step back. This person needs their time to figure out who they are, to figure out what they can do. And they might not be able to be as available to me as they were before. But because I love them, let me try to develop some understanding for what they're going through, for what they're trying to become. Because a big thing that I'm learning is that, of course, when we have big hopes and dreams for our lives, it's always in you. But sometimes you have to do a literal, not a 360, y'all, a literal 180 from who you currently are. You have to go through such an identity shift. You have to pick things up and drop things off, and then pick things up again and drop things off again. Learn and unlearn and shift so many different ways and so many different times. And when you think you've got it, you probably still don't have it. Or you've got it and then you got to learn a different way tomorrow. But going through that metamorphosis is such a crazy thing and a beautiful thing. And the people in your life sometimes won't recognize you. Sometimes they won't be supportive. Sometimes they won't be understanding. But ultimately, I've recognized that everybody isn't meant to come with me on my journey. Everybody isn't meant to understand where I'm coming from, to believe in my dream. Everyone doesn't have the vision that I have. That's why it isn't everyone's vision. That's why the vision was given to me by God. It was placed within my mind. It was placed on my heart. And there's going to be that difficult shift with dynamics when you're going through growth in life. There's going to be the feeling like you're going to lose people and saying no, and that's the fawning. Saying no, let me try to make it more comfortable for this person, make it more comfortable for that person, make it a little more digestible. Because I want people to understand me. I want people to love me. I don't want to be alone. I don't want to know what it feels like to not be supported by the people that I'm closest to. I don't want to know what it feels like to hear people saying, no, you can't do that, because they don't have the vision to see where I plan for my life to be. I don't want to go through that. So let me try to play it smaller. Let me try to still show up the ways that I was showing up before, even though now it's not as healthy for me. I might not be able to make it happen the same way I used to. But if people cannot see you for your growth and see you for where you're trying to go, and I'm not saying they'll see it from the very beginning, but if they're not willing to catch up to the vision later on, or at least midway, those people just aren't meant to be in your life. Or they just, sad to say, never had that love for you. They were in your life for what was beneficial. And people are in your lives for a reason, a season, a lesson, or a blessing. And sometimes you have to be willing to say, even yes, your family, even yes, your spouse, even yes, your friends, the coworkers who you probably shouldn't be telling your business to, no way. They're not meant to go with you where you're headed. So when you're placing these boundaries and you're saying, hey, I can't do this, hey, I can't do that, you're starting to say no more. You're starting to prioritize self more. It gets a little shaky. But choosing yourself gets easier the more that you do it. Because it feels so uncomfortable at first, knowing that I used to show up for everyone, trying to be the best daughter, trying to be the best employee, trying to be the best sister, trying to be the best everything to everyone, and abandoning self and pushing self to the side and saying, okay, I'm going to focus on me later. That's why I'll always say that the way that I maneuver through life, I purposefully make sure that I am okay first. And then once I'm okay, I can make sure that everybody else around me is okay. I know one thing that they say, if there's a crash on an airplane, they say like a mother should make sure she puts her air mask on before the child's. Because if you are not okay, you cannot focus on your child. If you are not okay, you cannot be what you need to be for everyone else. So you have to learn, absolutely have to learn to choose yourself more. And you might hear that you're selfish. You might hear that you're mean. You might get called everything but a child of God. But eventually the right people will understand. And eventually you will even understand that it was okay to make sure that I was okay first. And honesty is the best policy. Sometimes, and no, you don't need to volunteer all of the information because like I said, sometimes people don't see your vision. So you're going to run into nothing but disappointment by telling everybody what you plan on doing or what you think you can accomplish, because sometimes people can only see as far as they're willing to see. And sometimes that's just their nose in front of them. Sad to say. Everybody ain't meant to go to the levels that you're meant to go. You can't bring everybody with you, or sometimes you are dragging around dead weight. So I don't want you to play it small. I don't want you to necessarily keep your vision to yourself. I want you to create an action plan to carry out your vision. But also understand that sometimes you can't even be mad. I had to learn this myself. You can't even be mad at people for saying, oh, that's not even possible. Oh, but you can't do that. Oh, we're from this little town. How could we possibly accomplish something like that? Oh, you didn't get your diploma. Oh, you're a this, a that, a statistic. Because they lack the vision. Sometimes you can't even be mad at people. Because what they believe genuinely is what they believe. They might not think that it would be possible for them to accomplish what you think you could set out and do. But it's not for them to understand. It's between you and God. Right? So when you start to choose yourself more, when you start to believe in yourself more, when you start to prioritize yourself more, when you start to invest into yourself more, when you start to spend time alone with yourself more, when you start to love yourself more, you can be a better everything to everyone else. I can love you because I love me so much. I can support you because I support myself. I can be a great friend to you because I'm being a great friend to myself. I can be a great sister to you because I'm a great sister to myself. I'm a great lover to myself. I'm a great everything to myself, so I can be better for you because I'm better for myself. You cannot pour from an empty cup. So make sure that you are nourishing you. You are educating you. You are loving you. And make sure you remember that you have all the tools and the power and the understanding to become exactly who you want to be. But it's on you to get up and do the work. Nobody can stop you from where you're supposed to go. And nobody can hold you back. And nobody is coming to save you. So it's time for you to get up and make sure that you are okay. And love on you. I'll see you later.